Hi, good morning. My name is Suzanne. I'm a horticulturist here at Rogers Gardens. Welcome to our in-store seminar and live stream. Here we are the experts in gardening and here to help you succeed in growing healthy and abundant plants. Today we're going to be talking about water-wise companion plants for roses. And I guess we need to talk about water-wise, a little bit about watering, and how we're all going to get through this summer without having too many troubles keeping most of our plants alive. So depending on where you live, some places have water restrictions in place already. Some are going to start on June 1st, like where I live. And here in Orange County, I don't think there are any planned yet, but I'm imagining it'll happen at some point. So first up, watering. A lot of people remember from the last time we had water restrictions that we were limited to like 1 or 2 days a week, and that's actually okay as long as you water well. So water deeply, less often. You probably heard me say this a million times if you've heard me say it once, but it's better for your plants. So having water restrictions can sometimes make your garden actually look better because most people are guilty of overwatering. So water just slow and long, and try and get that water to make, you want the water to go down as deep as you can within your restrictions, I suppose. And then because the roots of the plant will go down lower, and then when it's really hot and the soil up here is getting dry, this can dry out, but down here it's going to be nice until the next time you water. So really, really important. Water deeply, less often. As Sarah says, water low and slow, which means water on the ground, not up onto the plant. Water low and slow. So if anything, you can take that away from this. And so now we're going to talk about some of the plants. Well, actually, let's go real quickly to how you can do this. So some people have roses in a big long planter bed, and you've got a rose, and maybe they're staggered or something, but you want to add something around it. A really easy way to do this is to add just a border, and a lot of people do this with boxwoods and things like that, but what you can do with plants is do something a little different. So one of the really fun things to do, because a lot of people like lavender, is use one of these dwarf lavenders. And you can see it's very small. You can have a little border of these going around, and some of the varieties will get like maybe 12 inches, some will get up to 18, but that's pretty small. You can still see your roses, and you've got this beautiful bloom of lavender, maybe once or twice in the summer. And this one is called Big Time Blue. There's some other dwarf varieties like Thumbelina Lee, Super Blue, and some of the other ones. Some of the Spanish lavenders, like this one here, it's got that beautiful gray color. These will actually bloom a little bit more, and they stay far more compact, so less pruning back. So either of these are really, really pretty. And I'm just going to show you. Of course, this is a really, really fun lavender. It's not blooming right now, unfortunately. This is called Merlot. So it's a variegated lavender, and it has that really beautiful scent of the leaves, which I can smell right now. I'm sorry if you can't, but it is gorgeous. But this is a full-size lavender. It'll probably get 2 to 3 feet with those beautiful, kind of a paler blue blossom, but it's like an English like this here, as opposed to the Spanish like this. But recently, we have this new little lavender, and it's in a 4-inch container, which makes it really fun. But this is a dwarf lavender, and it's called Platinum Blonde. And this is also a variegated lavender, but it is an English lavender. So lots and lots of choices to add a hedge around your roses of lavender. And some of you are probably saying, well, I love lavender, but it's sometimes a pain to grow. And lavender can be kind of a funny thing. You've got to know when to prune it and how to keep it from getting too woody. So may I suggest another really fun plant that'll give you a lot of color like lavender, which is catmint. So catmint has that same kind of look. You can get some of the lower varieties. There's one called Walker's Low. I believe this one's called Blue Wonder. But Walker's Low is a really nice low growing one that'll send up those flowers all summer long. And it's really nice, very low maintenance, and you could attract cats with this, definitely, but sometimes that's a good thing. If you have a little varmints in the evening, having a cat coming over will actually help keep varmints away. And by varmints, I mean rats and possums and funny things like that. So catmint is really neat. It is a super aromatic herb, which bunnies don't like. So that's another good thing. Anything aromatic, like the lavenders, like the catmint, and like this gorgeous thyme here, can all be used to make a beautiful little hedge around, even if you do like a big square hedge around it, or you can plant around your roses, giving them like a foot on each side, so like a little circle. You can make a whole bed of something like this and just cut around your roses to get that water in there. And then these are super drought tolerant and won't take water away from your roses, which is the name of the game right now. Is you want to water the things that are really, really important, like trees and your roses that are blooming this summer. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, since I skipped over to catmint, and then we have this beautiful thyme. Thyme is such a great plant. It just gets nice and big and full, and you can almost prune it into a little hedge. It gets gorgeous little pink or white or dark pink flowers on it. It attracts a lot of pollinators, so it's great for your garden. And of course, you can use it for cooking. So we've got this really beautiful orange thyme, which smells like heaven. This is lemon thyme. There are a lot of different kinds of thyme, so almost anything to find to work with your garden. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, so again, so I don't know if I'm explaining this very well about the hedge. So a standard hedge around your garden, or you can have your rose and have things growing around it, and you can kind of prune it and keep it nice, like a little bed that the roses are popping out of. I don't know how to explain it any other way. So there's that. And then there's also just kind of having your roses and having things grow around them. So kind of immersed in a beautiful sea of plants and flowers and things, kind of English garden-y, but you can do it in a very, very water-wise way by putting larger things like lavender, or my favorite thing right now, this is just my jam if you haven't noticed, is grasses. I love tall grasses. I love medium grasses. I love small grasses. But grasses can make a beautiful hedge. I'm sure you've seen this gorgeous blue fescue. It's Elijah blue. You can use this as a little hedge, but you can also use it dotting the edge of your pathways near your roses to kind of soften those edges of, the beds where they're growing. You can put some beautiful things in there, like this is yarrow or achillea, and I thought this one would be blooming by the time I brought it out here, but it's not. But this comes in every color, from white to yellow to pink to red to like almost like a purple. And the really cool thing is that when it's blooming in the summer, it's got these gorgeous flowers, but in the winter it's going to die back to just this really cute little low growing, kind of ferny looking, I don't know, what would you, like a ground cover. And it's really, really nice. You can actually walk on it, and it's very, very drought tolerant once it gets established. So that's a beautiful thing. I've got some Kufia. There are a lot of varieties of Kufia. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this one. It's called Mexican Heather, I believe. But the nice thing about this is that some Kufia can get about 2 feet by 2 feet, but there are smaller varieties. You can get it in a white flower, a pale pink flower, or this dark kind of magenta-y look, and they are just super, super water-wise, really, really easy to grow, and just look fabulous around your roses. And I've got some other grasses. Just one, it's a pity that these don't look full grown, because this is just a beautiful, beautiful thing to see when it's completely filled with all these seed heads and then just the tuft of grass underneath. We've also got this gorgeous lomandra, which is called Arctic Frost. There are a lot of lomandras. They all get about 3 feet tall and wide. They're big and floppy, and they are as drought tolerant as they come. You can pretty much, once they're established, really don't have to worry too much about them, as long as there are plants being watered around it. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to lead up to my big clinch thing here. So People want to plant succulents, and you can mix your succulents with your roses if you like. Again, you can, kind of mix them in there, but these two, this variety, Crassula, it's a great part of succulents, and this one is sometimes called jitters, it's sometimes called coral. This one is called blue waves, but this will grow up to look almost like a boxwood. It gets kind of a hedgy look that you can use with it, and it's really fun. Again, super, super water-wise, and this Crassula, you'll know it kind of as a jade plant, but this is a compacta, so it stays very small. There's some other ones that are called Hobbit or Sea Monster that also look very much like a boxwood. So you can kind of have, think a little bit out of the boxwood, so to speak, and have an alternative hedge around your plants. This is for Sarah. Thursday, Sarah. Sarah loves this plant. Sarah just really, really, really feels that it just adds a lot to the garden. So a lot of people know Dusty Miller. This is a variety of Dusty Miller, but it's called Snowy Owl, I believe. Snowy Owl, I think, is what it's called. So it's really compact and really, really cultured, but it looks really beautiful against all the other colors. So it has that different texture that really makes everything nice. And of course, it's very drought tolerant. This is Duranta Gold Mound. This plant looks cute and innocent here. It has a lot of color. It's a great plant for shade if you have it, but it's also a great plant for sun. And it can grow, it doesn't grow wide, but it can get tall, and you can train it to kind of do different things, or you can just let it grow and it gets little tiny blue flowers. But it's a great, again, it's a great contrast to a lot of other plants to just kind of make it look nice. And around your roses, again, you can prune it to make it look how you like, and isn't it cute? I mean, it's just so pretty. Okay, well, we've got some other drought tolerant ones, but I think I'm going to come over here and just say, hey, you know what you can put with your roses? You can put roses with roses. This is my twist of adding small little roses. This little cutie here, these are called petite knockouts, and these are gorgeous. They only get about 2 feet tall, so you could have roses lining your roses. And one more thing, carpet roses. Carpet roses are so great for so many reasons. They come in a million colors. Once they get established, they are so water-wise, so drought tolerant. They bloom on and off all year. You really don't have to do much to them. If you want, you can prune them back, but otherwise they're just going to grow and bloom and look gorgeous all year. And I feel like if you wanted to make a hedge of them around your roses, you could do it, but you could also just plant them around your roses and just have roses on roses on roses, and just really doesn't really add a lot more to the water situation after they get established. So who doesn't love that? And so many flowers. The last thing I want to show you are these beautiful, these are true geraniums. So what we think of when we think of geraniums, we usually think of these, but actually these are pelargoniums, and this is a beautiful pelargonium that I love, that I think would look beautiful around roses. You can just plant them in and around. This one's called Brocade Cherry Night. It is fantastic, but this is technically a pelargonium, and this is a geranium. So this geranium is called Brookside. It pretty much does this. It spreads out and it has beautiful blue flowers from the moment it gets warm until the moment it gets cool. They kind of die back for the winter to nothing, and then they come right back out in the spring. And if it's really warm like it was this past winter, they really don't go away. We have other varieties like this Roseanne, which is my personal favorite, but that Brookside looks better today. These look much better once you get them into the ground, but these flowers they're amazing. You can make them kind of give like a water effect. If you have one of the dry riverbeds or the arroyo secos, just gorgeous to come spilling over things and to grow around roses. They're gorgeous. And another last thing, again, a ground covery kind of beautiful blue flower, is this convolvulus. this will spread and have these beautiful flowers again from spring through fall. Everything that I've shown here is a perennial, so they're all going to do their beautiful thing and stay there year after year. So it's a good investment. It's a good thing to get water-wise plants in the ground. And yeah, I'm trying to look at my list. I got everything. You can also use rosemary. I talked a little bit about thyme and catmint, but rosemary is a great hedging plant as well. It takes a lot to kind of keep it where you want it to be, but as a ground cover around roses, and then you can just keep it nice and trimmed up around the roses. Many years ago, Rogers Gardens had our roses up here, and we had a beautiful rose garden, and we had the herbs around the roses. So if any of you old timers like me are watching and you remember that, it was just gorgeous. So let's see, I've got all my plants, I'm done all my stuff. Are there any questions, Marissa?
Yes. How about blue salvia?
Blue salvia is a great one. Oh yes, I did grab one. So everyone is maybe familiar with the Salvia mystic spires, and it is a great plant. It is probably one of the top 5 bedding plants because it looks good, and it gets about maybe 4 feet tall and just keeps blooming and blooming and blooming like this. But for some people that might be a little bit too big, especially around your roses. So we show you this plant called Misty. So Mystic Spires is the big one. Misty is the dwarf variety. So this will only get about 2 feet tall. Look at these gorgeous flowers that hummingbirds and bees absolutely adore. Actually, butterflies like them as well. Okay, so that's it for questions. Wow, that was not a lot, but that's okay. So thank you so much for joining me. Please join Sarah on Thursday. She's going to be talking about our favorite plant of the week. And if you missed any of this, you can check on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube and replay it later. You can follow us on Pinterest and YouTube. You can also join, Rogers has a rewards program, so we just call it our preferred customer list. And if you get on that list, then you can get all of our emails and heads up for all of our videos. And shop our online boutique at rogersgardens.com. And that's about it. If you'd like, you can share this with all your friends. And that's it for me today. Happy gardening.